You're watching KLBK's A New Red Raider Legacy, sponsored by Lubbock National Bank.
Welcome back, and clearly one of the most dynamic players and one of the reasons why Texas Tech is right here in the Final Four has to be Coronado alum Jarrett Culver. He has been anything and everything for the Red Raiders squad, averaging over 20 points a game, or close to 20 points a game, leading also in rebounds and assists, and one of the reasons why they're able to do what they're able to do. There's also a reason why he's the second-team AP All-American and was the Big 12 Player of the Year. Michigan State head coach Tom Izzo has been impressed with what he's seen out of Culver, the dual threat he has become, comparing him to an NBA legend.
I don't know if he's Scottie Pippen-ish like, there's probably better guys early. Just at that era I watched even more, and I think he's got versatility, and he's a scorer that plays defense, and sometimes those are harder to come by, and that's, I think, what makes him so special.
Yes, it is. It is what makes him special. Of course, Texas Tech not only getting a chance to compare Culver to one of the standout players from Michigan State. Coming up here in just a moment, we'll take a look at that standout player and how both of them going head-to-head should make for an interesting day in the Minneapolis, Minnesota area. Ryan?
Yeah, right. I mean, whenever you talk about a player that's not just a scorer, that does make your team run, you saw right there, you do think of Jarrett Culver, a local product deciding to stay in his hometown and help his team create history. Our Leah Doherty joins us now to show us how family and dedication have driven Culver to heights he never imagined.
Take my talents to Texas State University.
Jarrett Culver signing with the Red Raiders.
It was the Jarrett Culver show and company last night.
Culver's a talented young guy. I think he'd be the first to tell you a lot of the credit goes for his teammates.
I just see myself as a good player there in the future and just having a good team and March Madness run. And I just see myself there as a player.
He's always dreamed about playing in March Madness and going to Final Four, and now he gets that opportunity.
Long before he even knew the rules of the game, basketball had already found its way to the Lubbock native.
He was small at the time. We took family pictures where he had a basketball in his hand, and I thought that was so funny. Of all the things he could have put in his hand, it was a basketball.
Before competing in the Big 12, Jarrett still saw his fair share of stiff competition. He knew them as his two older brothers.
When we got a basketball goal one Christmas, and they played all day Christmas, all night Christmas night. It was cold, and they just did not want to come in the house. And JJ and Trey would beat Jarrett, and he would be okay, but he wanted to play again. And he's still like that. Like, he wants to play again so that he could be the winner.
A mentality that stuck with Jarrett as he began high school at Coronado.
I just took it one morning. He would come in there at 4:55 in the morning and work out and shoot.
And it wasn't long before his talent was recognized by his fellow classmates.
Most likely to go pro.
Now in the national spotlight, just within reach of a goal, with a team that only 0.7% of people had cutting down the nets.
They're special. Like, this group of guys that are special. Jarrett, all of the boys have played with different teams at different times, but this group of guys, they're so special, and the coaching. Just that combination together with Coach Beard and Coach Adams and all these coaches and what they have done to develop the relationship that they have with the kids, that combination, I don't think anybody can beat us.
It's been a dream come true, and it's just a blessing to see him experience some of the success he's experiencing.
And for those that still see Texas Tech as the underdog,
keep on not picking us, we're going to just keep going and going and going. I love it.
Leah Doherty, KLBK News.
Now, one of the key cogs that has Texas Tech's opponent, Michigan State, where they are as well, has to be the play of guard Cassius Winston. He has been everything for them as well. Of course, in previous wins, he has willed his team to wins over Bradley, Minnesota, LSU, and most importantly, the big one, a one-point win in the over tourney favorite Duke, 68-67, to reach the Final Four. Coach Chris Beard impressed by the multifaceted elements of Winston's game, which, along with his teammates, will pose a large challenge for the Red Raiders.
Cassius is a great defender, too. He picks and chooses possessions. He's smart. He plays all those minutes and stays out of foul trouble, but I think he's a very, very good defender well at his position. So we have a lot of respect for all their defensive players. Their team defense speaks for itself. You know, we're going to have to play great offensively to score a basket.
For many players like Cassius Winston, but especially the ones that have been in a program for years, making a Final Four is a dream come true. But one of the best examples at Texas Tech is senior centerpiece Norris Odiase. Odiase committed to Texas Tech for the 2014-15 season under then head coach Tubby Smith. After an injury sidelined him in his sophomore season, Odiase had something to prove when new head coach Chris Beard took over the program, and prove it he did, becoming one of Chris Beard's favorite players he's ever coached because of his work ethic and dedication. But during his senior season, tragedy struck when two of his cousins died in a car accident shortly before the Texas Tech Baylor game. And when asked by the coaching staff if he wanted to take the night off, Odiase decided to play for them.
Most, disciplined winners that I've ever coached. He's a great basketball player, but he's even a better man. So just under extreme circumstances, it doesn't surprise me because, Norris is a man, and none of us understand why these things happen. You just rely on your faith and understand that this is a pretty short life we're all in. So I didn't think Norris could earn my respect even more than I already did. But everything that transpired yesterday from about noon to the present time for me is just strengthened my opinion of Norris and what kind of man he is.
And after battling back from his cousin's death, Odiase is shooting about 60% from the field on the season and grabbing more than 5 rebounds per game.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Don't go anywhere. We showed you, there we go, coming up, we showed you how the coaching and the players have overcome odds. And when we come back, we'll catch up with a Texas Tech statistics professor to find out just what odds they were up against.